my version, how I met my husband. So it was, I had a neighbor. I was, of course, a sophomore in high school, and had a neighbor who invited me to quinceañera. She knew I was down because I had just broke up with my Central Catholic sweetheart. And so I said, okay. So we went, and she had already showed me in this famous clip, newspaper clipping, that there was this famous football player named David, his AKA Thunder, that was a fullback, and she already had mentioned me to him, and he was possibly interested in me. So he was going to be at this quinceañera, so we went, and of course I got all dolled up in my platform shoes and my 70s outfit and ready to disco. And I went, and I was upstairs, and we were looking for him, and of course he already had arrived. I was coming downstairs in my platform shoes, and boom, 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 I fell. It was so embarrassing. I fell, and there he was at the bottom of the stairs, just looking straight up at me. And I was so embarrassed, and so, you know, I ran to the bathroom and just started crying. I mean, I was a sophomore. I just started crying. And so that was the first image I saw of David's face. But of course, I was so embarrassed I didn't want to talk to him after that.
So you knew about David before you showed up to the dance?
Yes. But then how I actually met and talked to David was at the second dance that I went to, because he's, you know, Bella, Felicia, my neighbor, said he was going to be there at this other dance. So of course I went with this Central Catholic guy or guys, and I had told my mom I was going to go with this Central Catholic date, this guy named Donnie. And so I went with him, but I knew David was going to be there, and I was excited to kind of see if I could meet him. So of course he comes in with his entourage of football players, like huge, I think 8 or 10 guys. And so me, here I was, what, 80 pounds, sophomore, like, to me he was huge, like strong, this huge guy, Thunder. So I was so excited because he comes to our table with all these guys, and he says, hey, you want to meet me? I'll be downstairs. Like, it was kind of like, so, like, who's this guy? He thinks he's just all confident and in love with himself. So anyway, he goes downstairs with all these guys, and here I am with this geek nerd, like bored to death. And here I look downstairs, David just having so much fun. And so I just went downstairs and started talking to him and dancing with him and meeting him. And I was left home with him. I mean, I went home with him, and my mom was so mad at me, like so mad, because I left with David and left this Central Catholic guy, because he actually followed and went and knocked on the door and told my mom that David took me, that he was being responsible. And so it was just drama. But
slightly bitter.
Slightly bitter, because I left with David and not with him.
Right.
But that's how I first met David.
You guys have been married now for 40 years. And at this point in the timeline, you just met. And tell me about the time where you found out you were pregnant.
When I found out I was pregnant. Okay. Well, when I found out I was going to have a baby was really not right away, because I was
I think I'm gonna say this better.
Yeah.
she was very irregular, and when she was expecting, it was like the 3rd or 4th month where she was irregular, and she didn't gain any weight. So we're kind of like, well, are you or aren't you? We're not sure.
That was an easy.
And the reason why we found out she wasn't ever showing was because she was carrying the baby on her back, which was kind of unusual.
Well, I was very tiny,
But
so nobody expected
everybody
me to be
just thought she was gaining weight.
Yeah, everybody just thought I was gaining weight.
Just
But-
like, oh, she's got a boyfriend now, she's just gaining weight.
Yes, but David was my love. I mean, David was like,
I don't know.
a strong man at that time. We were going through a lot in my family, and David just came in and saved us, saved me and everyone. And he was my strong person at that time, and I loved him, and He showed me love physically and everything. So I think at that time, whether I was or I wasn't, I didn't know. But I didn't tell anybody that I was pregnant because we were going through hard times, my family and my mom, and she was at that time too, having my little sister. So I didn't tell anybody. So we kept it a secret.
We kept it a secret, and I told her, "Don't worry, we're gonna go to the coast, fish, we can eat, go for it."
Like, we were so young, he had a plan already, and he would actually steal meat from HEB to feed me, to get me fat.
I tried to pay back.
And he said he would take care of me. I mean, I had no prenatal care. Now that's why I do what I do. But I had no prenatal care, and I didn't want to tell anybody. So lo and behold, we didn't tell anybody because we had each other, and we were going to have this perfect plan, and everything was going to be okay.
So we would deliver flowers together from her aunt's flower shop, and I told my mom that Dee Dee was sick. She had stomach problems at the hospital. So my mom called the hospital and said, "What's going on with Diana Aguilar?" He goes, "Well, she's delivering." And she's like, "Delivering flowers?" He goes, "No, a baby."
And here, right before, my mom was at night school and she wasn't at the house. And here, of course, I was still in high school. And I was junior in high school, almost already finishing the semester. But I was there, and I went into labor right there with my brothers and my sisters there that I was taking care of at the time. And oh my God, they didn't know what to do. Like, they were like, "Are you okay, sis? What's going on?" And I just kept on, didn't want to tell the secret still. And no, it's just my back. I'm having back pains. And no, I was in active labor. Luckily at that time, my mother came.
The way we thought as kids, we could keep it a secret forever.
Yeah, but lo and behold, of course, I had Alicia. They were worried because I didn't have prenatal care. They were worried for my health, and I did go through a lot through that delivery. But here comes David. He was insistent because, of course, the family was upset because, because it was just unexpected. But here comes David. He was adamant with the same entourage of football players to come see his little girl and see his love of his life.
Like, all 13 of you don't have to come. It's like...
They were all there, and the family came together. They were all there, and I had my little girl. Alicia. There's the love of my life.
So now you've had your beautiful baby girl,
Uh-huh.
my niece, Alicia. Now, I believe you get married, right? I mean, that's the next step?
Well, everybody was disappointed, and they said there goes their life because David was...
She was smart. They would make comments like that about Dee Dee. But I need to throw this in there. I asked her to marry me, and she said no, she doesn't want to because she wants to find out what else is out there. I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. I have no problem. So she would call me to babysit Alicia, and she would go out with other guys and stuff, and I didn't have any problem with that. So it took her 18 months to make up her mind. And then I asked her, "Hey, do you want to marry me?" I said, "I even have the rings." And she said, "Yes." So I put her on our washing machine. And
Spin cycle.
I gave her, on the spin cycle. And I gave her the ring, and then we planned. Like, okay, we got to get married right away. Let's do it in 4 weeks, I think.
And my version of that is, people would say, there goes her life. That poor thing, she could have been a doctor. There went his scholarship, because he had got so many scholarships, my Thunder. And, and I just needed time to know that we were going to be okay. My priority was my daughter. And so I did. So I started dating, but then I realized when I was with other guys who one that was really in love with me at the time. It's true.
He gave you a badass ring.
He did. He wanted to propose to me too. I realized that I missed David, that David would make me laugh. David was everything. He played songs back then through the phone, just can he miss me, And then just to know that I knew he was the right guy when he was there with his daughter and did everything for her and for me and to
I didn't
protect
mind babysitting. I'd be like, sure, I'll babysit.
So anyway,
While you go
so
out, it's no problem.
that's the story that I knew he was going to be the great guy for me.
And then we went off to the courthouse on the bus, got married, and my dad had made some menudo for us, and Miss Aguilera bought us a actual wedding cake, and we celebrated, and we had a vehicle that only had that did not have reverse. She said, I really want to go to the coast because I've never been anywhere before. Take me to the coast, please. I had $25 in my pocket, and we didn't have reverse on our vehicle. So I said, honey, if we go to the coast, we're not going to be able to come back because we don't have reverse. So she said, okay, well, just take me I'll take you to this motel, honey. This is the best hotel ever. It's $15. We got a good deal, and she was feeling kind of sick at that night. She was expecting David, and she said, I just really want to go to sleep right now. And I said, okay, that's okay, honey. I'm gonna celebrate my anniversary by drinking a 6-pack of beer and watching a brand new show called Saturday Night Live with John Belushi. So that's how I celebrated my honeymoon.
That's his version. My version was, it was cold on December 1st, 1979, and I was really excited. I had my baby in tow. Alicia was a just beautiful new coat I had bought her, and my dress from Solo Serve, and I was just so excited. It was like a big day. So excited for both of us. And I remember we had to get a transfer on the Mayfield bus just to the courthouse and rushing because, of course, the officiant that was marrying us, we wanted to be on time. And I remember Mom being with me in the bus and my aunt Chubby and my baby, and it didn't matter. Just at that time, I was just so excited to marry Thunder. And so I remember that. And then I remember, of course, your dad and him making menudo. That's definitely very small, and
$50, man.
The
We did it all at $50.
The honeymoon, didn't realize I was already pregnant again with David and sick and tired, so I just fell asleep. but that's how it started.
It was a great evening, honey.
But it was big to me because I had never been outside of San Antonio. Leon Valley was huge to me at that time when I go to my aunt's, but like going outside to the coast was like going to Paris to me. And it was fun because we didn't have only $20 in our pocket, right? And stayed on the beach and just had fun with
and fish.
I remember he said, honey, we had 2 kids. We lived in poverty. I mean, at that time, our love kept us going. But I remember he would do anything. I mean, even the most vivid was Christmas Eve one day, and we didn't have a Christmas tree or gifts for our kids, and David begged the handy Andy guy at that time for a tree. It was already Christmas Eve, and he brought this Charlie Brown tree that was cost $5.
They gave it away.
Oh, they gave it away to
you. It was
you?
a horrible tree.
It was horrible.
And it was the 24th already.
So they were giving
December.
So he brought this tree, and he made our day, like the kids, and we had our tree, and we made it look beautiful with popcorn, and the kids made construction paper ornaments. And I remember that day so vividly because, and then I remember you, brother, going to you because you had a credit card and JCPenney's and
Montgomery Wards.
Montgomery Wards. And I went to you and asked you if I could please borrow your card for my baby's gifts, one gift at least. And you did. You came through.
We couldn't believe it.
We couldn't believe it.
We were like,
one gift, and you just said, and you had that young teenager, you had a very short limit, so I could only credit limit, so I had just one gift for my kids, but you came through, and I remember that, and I remember being under that Christmas tree that night, after we have one gift and a tree,
And we promised each other, we held hands and promised each other that we were going to break this cycle of poverty and we were going to make it. You were the smart one.
To go in depth, we had no electricity. It was off for 2 weeks. And it was on Christmas Eve. We were on our own. And when the kids were asleep, we held hands and we promised each other that we would make it. And then you said, I have the back, and I got the brain.
You got the strength.
You got the back. Let's use it.
Let's use our gifts, right?
These kids deserve better. We were living on a duplex.
Yeah.
And our neighbor would come and ask to borrow our oven, and she would come and cook a chicken or a turkey or a roast or whatever, because she didn't have an actual oven herself. So one day I came home and I smelled a chicken in the oven, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, we're not eating just rice today. And she told me, no, this is the neighbor's chicken. We're baking it she asked to use our oven.
Yeah.
So then she called Dee Dee. She was right next door, and she asked, is my chicken ready? And it was very frustrating to hear that, especially we couldn't eat the chicken. Well, the very next day, she asked to borrow the oven again, and Dee Dee said, okay. She had a big roast in there. And when I came home, I was like, oh my God, please tell us this is our roast. And she said, no, it's the neighbor's. And as soon as she called and said, is my roast ready? I said, hold on, let me check. I took out the roast. I cut it in half. I kept half. She came and picked up her half, and we fed the kitchen. I'll never forget David's face, because when he was eating, he was going, like, man, this
is meat. We got meat.
What is this?
So she never came to borrow my oven again.
Yeah, so she never came to borrow it again.
But
So there's some of us here who have not been married as long and would love you to share with us some tips. What would you share with us?
We were talking about that the other day, preparing for this big party that we want to share with our friends and loved ones, because we want to thank everybody, because through this journey it wouldn't have been possible through people, through family and friends.
In your marriage is extremely important. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what they do, how they act. Family is family. And if you can grasp the meaning of family, that's one of the milestones that we've accomplished, is to stay close with our family no matter what.
Yeah,
and work. It's never a retirement in marriage. It's always work, no matter how long you've been married. We were married 20 years and we thought we would, okay, now we got it. And then we were married 25 years and we're like, I don't think we have it. And then 30 years, like, my God, we got to work through this. 35 years, it was like, I think we may be getting it.
It's a choice. It's a choice, and we chose this road because I really think that I couldn't do without him.
And that's the secret too. We think the same way.
That unselfishness.
I can't do without her.
I'm just telling a friend, it's just the unselfishness, the compromise, and it's not. You gotta accept him for who he is, and he accepts me. I don't know how he puts up with me, but he does, and he accepts me for me, and I think that's our secret. And
we've had to learn to live our truth. Yeah. Live our truth. Who we really are. Who are we? Live your truth. That brings some happiness to your life.
And the little things are important.
Any final words for the group?
For my kids that we've created, and our grandkids, the final words to them would be that you know, whether
Live your marathon.
live your marathon
If you're
and
married.
remember our legacy. Remember Nana and Poppy. Remember Dee Dee and David. Remember Thunder. Remember that we never gave up. And that we love everybody. We love our friends and our family. And thank you for coming.